the one hand, my uber-elite hacksaws of doom, on the one hand, sometimes it's really boring to walk down the street. On the other hand, sometimes things happen. Like now, it looks like something might be about to happen. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen, alright. Whoa! Lasers are coming out of the cars! Whoa! More lasers are coming out of the cars! As though the cars are laser machines that fire lasers at will, as though they have revolted against their very purpose of driving on roads and have elected laser production as a preferable aim. They are emitting a lot of lasers. What's going on, Butt?
Now I see it, an academic institution.
Dr. Jean Ray has stated, you have opposite brains to think opposite. But Big Brother Ice-Pick academic lobotomy has destroyed your mentality to think opposite of the evil singularity you were taught. The 4 days are above your godism, and you don't even want to know. Moreover, academia doesn't want you to know, but we do want to know, so let's get some knowledge happening, cubes. It's time to escape the academic institution by means of 16 wise insights, riding on the back of 16 wise dinosaurs. Written and sealed by philosophers of the past, bad philosophy has come our way. So much of it has been superseded. All the superstition, all the limited, ill-conceived thoughts. And yet it remains. Why? Because of inertia. Some people just don't want to progress. They don't want to abandon cubelessness. They are afraid of accepting time cube. Locked in their stone vaults in ancient towering crumbling buildings, a perpetual infancy is the state of their thought. For if ever they had inklings of higher things, then they have forsaken those inklings, and they have chosen instead to retard their minds. Why something rather than nothing? Because of the antipodal geometry. Dr. Ray has made it clear that opposite antipodes are integral to the cubic universe. Why something rather than nothing? Because as long as there are opposites, there is something. If, however, they cancel out, then there will be nothing. It will be a singularity. There is existence and there is truth. What's truth? It's hard to see when you're brainwashed. It's like a sphinx with a hidden riddle. It's hard to grasp and it's hard to find. A standard of knowledge, a standard of wisdom. And if all of those people don't reach it, then what do you think will happen? Destruction! Dogma. There's a lot of dogma going around today. This statue is a dogmatic person, for its dogma is just to stand still all the time. And like a dogmatic person, it's inflexible. It will never change its ways. Even an enlightened person who knows about the time cube should not take it for granted. For it's best to question it from time to time and play your own devil's advocate that you may become wiser.
Meanwhile, the dogmatists continue with their ingrained traditions and ingrained conventions. They probably wouldn't even focus much on the origins of their dogmas, the ancient origins of all of those thoughts, within the wider scope of things. If they could gain that perspective, then they might become enlightened. They might abandon their limiting dogmas.
Delusions. People have delusions. They look at a car and think it's a cow. They look at a cow and think it has wheels.
Actually, sometimes people have learned to live under the influence of delusions. Those delusions engender a state of mind that is favourable to their survival. Of course, they could just think rationally. They could just figure out how to survive from a rational perspective. But that would be a lot more demanding. They prefer delusion. Sometimes delusions are life-sustaining. Sometimes mankind subsists on them. Sometimes rational thought can be a very challenging thing. Subjective opinions are widespread, and different people have different ones. They have different opinions and they don't want to look beyond their opinions. They want to ignore the wider truth. People's actions are regulated by their opinions. Narrow people have inflexible lives. When they choose to close their minds, they are blocked from many good paths. And indeed, dogmatic opinionation hinders progress. It prevents awareness of the way things actually are. It represents an enigma not yet solved. The enigma, how all the bad things can be decisively overcome.
There is a distortion of nature that exists in cubeless belief. Such belief views nature as being subjugated to a single corner. It's like a one-corner self who holds dictatorial power. Their opinions are held to be supreme. They accept zero moderation from conflicting points of view. They destabilise nature and they place it out of balance. Their one-corner perspective is like an absolute morality. Their opinions are enforced as though they are supreme. And above it all, they don't care about the cubic four-corner village. The real world is all around us, but sometimes we think things that aren't actually real. Sometimes it even appears as though those things are part of reality. What it all means is that there are illusions. Look at that thing, that's amazing, that's got to be real. No, wait, it was a mirage. The real world and the apparent world are sometimes quite different. What appears to exist might not actually be real. Care must be taken. And indeed, there is often uncertainty and confusion stemming from illusion, a distortion of the real world by which we're made perplexed. Judgment? What is judgment? Sometimes people are prejudiced. Sometimes they have to make decisions. It's all an issue of discernment. We have the means to observe situations. We have the means to examine all of their facets. We have experience and opinions that we may apply. Applying them, we begin to form a judgment. Yes, we find that we can pass judgment. Maybe we could exert control thereby. But would it be a real accomplishment? If we were to control people as we wished, would we thus be bestowed with real merit? Indeed, into one-corner dictators we will be likely to thus transform. We need to do better than that. We need four-corner cubic wisdom.